If you don't know how to preserve your whites in watercolor, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Pencil Shark, and today I will share 5 techniques that will help you preserve your whites so that you can capture strong dramatic lighting in your next watercolor painting. Plus, at the end of this video, I'll give you a bonus tip in case all else fails. Tip number 1, paint around the white spaces. To create this highlight on the apple, we just need to leave the paper untouched, painting around the highlight. Now there is a highlight right here and it's actually completely white there. So I'm gonna put that in. This requires careful planning so you don't accidentally paint over the areas you want to remain white. Let me know in the comments if you would like a step-by-step tutorial on how I painted this. Tip number 2, use the dry brush technique. Anna is a pro at this. She quickly moves her brush across the paper, allowing paint to touch some parts of the paper, but other parts remain untouched. This technique makes the water look like sunlight is glimmering off the water. Tip number 3, use the lifting technique. I was excited to try this paper because it said improved color lifting, and it worked really well. You can see me lightening this part of the apple with this lifting technique. It also said vegan friendly. I don't understand. Watch modern watercolor master Duvall use this lifting technique right here. This technique involves removing paint from the surface by absorbing the paint with a brush or wiping away with a paper tissue. I listed some of my favorite watercolor brushes in the description. Now I've heard that Mr. Clean magic erasers do a good job of taking watercolor off the paper. I've never tried it, so we're gonna go to Walmart right now and see if that's true. Yeah, honey, I don't see it. I don't think they have the magic eraser here at Walmart. This one's already open, so we're gonna get this one. I'm curious about this one. All right, let's go. What? What's that? It's in my hand? Oh. Never mind, I found it. All right, guys, I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna start off with a very nice brush that's absorbent. This is a painting I'm not happy with, so this is what happens when you use a nice brush. I'm trying to lift the paint as much as possible. Now, I painted this like months ago, so this paint has had time to really dry. But what's nice about watercolor is that you just need to add water to activate it again. That's what just a good absorbent brush can do. Now we will try this, 95% less scrubbing. So here we go. Get it wet. Wow, wow, okay. Okay, that's pretty amazing. That is incredible, actually. Now we're gonna try the ultra thick one. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference at all. I mean, that's almost as white. That's almost as white as the paper was to begin with. I think the only difference with this one's is how thick it is. So we'll see if it makes a big difference. Wow. I think they're about the same, and that's amazing. So we got 4 moons now in this painting, and I think it's taking the painting to the next level. All right, guys, so the rumors were true. These work really well. Tip number 4, use a scraper tool for tiny details. You can see me using the scraper tool to create the tiny details of the horse hairs. I also used it on the lion whiskers. I only recommend this technique if you have 100% cotton paper. Be careful not to scrape too hard. You only want to scrape the top layer of your paper and not rip through your paper. I've said this before and I'll say it again. In my opinion, strong dramatic lighting really shows off the strengths of watercolor, especially leaving some areas of the paper completely white. Before I give the last tip, if you're liking this video, please like it and subscribe. Also, don't forget, I have a bonus tip for you at the very end. Tip number 5, use masking fluid. I have 2 different types of masking fluid. There's this one that I like to dip my toothbrush in and then flick like the stars on the sky or the glimmers on the river. Then I have this masking fluid that allows me to put it on with like details, and it comes out really small, and so you can do like little tiny marks. Masking fluid forms a protective barrier, preventing paint from touching that area and preserving your white paper. Apply masking fluid to the paper, let it dry, then paint over it. Once the paint is dry, you can peel off the masking fluid to reveal the white paper. Richard Thorne is a master at using masking fluid. In his Domestica watercolor course, which I highly recommend, he uses masking fluid to create highlights in the river. You can use masking fluid in lots of ways, like preserving the moon and stars in a dark sky, or highlights in an eye, a river, another river, or a beach. You can also use it in a river. Not sure if I mentioned that. I really like using masking fluid, but only use it on dry paper. If you apply masking fluid on wet paper, it will absorb it, and then it will be really hard to take it off without damaging your paper. Also, don't use high quality brushes to apply masking fluid. I did that the first time and I completely ruined a brush I had bought just that day. Instead, use an old toothbrush if you need to flick the masking fluid onto your paper, or use an ink pen like Duval does. Now for the bonus tip. Use white opaque watercolor. There will be times when you paint over an area you wish that you kept completely white. And in those cases, this is your friend. Sometimes your only friend. Or you'll want to quickly add some highlights towards the end of your painting. To do this, I recommend titanium white opaque watercolor paint, made by M. Graham and Company. This is a thick water-based white paint that allows you to add white details into your work. It can be layered over the top of dry watercolor or mixed with other colors to create pastel tones and opaque colors. Do you have any questions about how to create realistic art or any questions about watercolor? Ask me in the comments. I hope these tips help you attack the blank page and create strong dramatic lighting by preserving your whites. Thanks so much for watching.
Love you too, bye.